7-1 monster, I think is how I would put it. Arafan Diane, who plays for Iowa United on the Adidas circuit. This is a player, Riley, that, hand up here. I actually wasn't too familiar with him until he kind of came on my radar just as recently. And honestly, I'm a little bit put off that I didn't notice this earlier because my good friend Adam Finkelstein told me that he would be one of the biggest ranking risers coming up here. This kid has the rare combination of just size, motor, and I was trying to actually get a more of a picture on like if he has been, how long he's been playing basketball and things like that. Because sometimes you see these kids that, yeah, I think he came over from New Guinea, I believe it was, and
Hmm.
he, sometimes there's situations where he, they might have just started playing basketball a little bit recently, but even so, I think that he is just scratching the surface on what he could be. And this is the worst version of him that you're going to see. And that just has to have a lot of college coaches kind of oozing, I think, to get in conversation with him and probably possibly get him to be a part of their team. And I think that, his offer list and his interest is something that aligns with that. Some of the schools that he's hearing from: Kentucky, Indiana, UConn, of course, 7-footer. Purdue's got to make their presence known there. But Riley, I'll throw it to you for your thoughts on some of the tape that you've been able to watch on Arfon.
Yeah, I like his game a lot. I think he has some old school flair to him where you can throw him the ball on the block and make a post move and dunk on you, but he also can play out of the short roll. At least some of his highlights on the Adidas circuit this past spring, he's shooting threes. I can't say the jumper looks great, but I'll also cut him some slack because he is 7'1". He's just a massive human being who can play above the rim. Like, if there's any concerns, I would say he doesn't look like the most fluid mover. But I think when you consider his size, his athleticism, his offensive skill, you probably overlook that. And to your point about Finkelstein, Finkelstein just moved him up to be the top ranked center in the class of 2026 on 24/7 Sports. I think he just cracked the top 25. So yeah, I like the way he plays, the way he carries himself on the court. He kind of carries himself like a superstar. He talks a ton of trash. He's always clapping, like jawing a little bit, getting guys' faces. And honestly, in preparation for this video, I watched a 6 minute interview with him with Pro Insights, and he just has like all the great basketball cliches about leadership and everything, but he says it so emphatically and excitedly to where I'm like, how can you not love this kid? So I'm very interested to see how his game continues to develop. Also, interesting note, he played for Guinea in the FIBA U17 World Cup last summer. You remember that event? It was like where Team USA won by 60 pretty much every game because they
Yeah.
had Cam Boozer and Debonsa and Koa Pete all just like stunting on opponents. But against Team USA, he had 14 and 11 and five big fouls. Fouled out of that game.
5 big ones.
But like if you go back and watch the highlights, he very much looks like he belongs with his athleticism. Like the way that he's finishing above the rim over Koa Pete or Boozer, it's you can tell this kid is definitely the ranking is justified.
This video is brought to you by NBA2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's it's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Yeah, I think so, 100%. And honestly, in the clips I was able to see, one of the things I was very impressed about, obviously, I think the touch is there. He only had 1 3 in the clips that I saw, but like the jumper didn't look, kind of awful. It's kind of got a, what he shoots like? His jumper reminds me of like Gorgie Jang, I think it was. Like that's what his form kind of is like.
I thought it kind of looked like Malowatch, and maybe it's just because they're both
Mm.
like over 7 feet, but the way they're,
Kind of
I
like
guess,
that above the head, like kind of like
yes, and the way maybe it's just because their arms are so long, like the release looks very similar, but
yeah. I mean, I was very impressed. Obviously, like he takes his time, he probes, and he's got the touch to go look left or right hand. Also, there's a lot of stuff of him just running the floor like I'm 7'1", I'm gonna seal you. But two of the more impressive things, because I think at the college level, one of the downfalls is you have these guys with great size, and not to like throw people under the bus here, but like one of the downfalls of Umar Ballo is that he couldn't deal with double teams well, right? Or he couldn't pass out of double teams. There was like two clips that just shined to me in the stuff that I saw. He like caught it and caught it, had the guy sealed out, right? And he caught it over his shoulder and they sent the double and he was able to like do like a cross court like corner pass.
hmm
He also had the same type of thing where he kind of the double came from the baseline, he turned middle and the other guy dug down. He was able to pass it cross court once again for a 3-point shot. I think that he can do a lot, right? I think this is a guy that can score, rebound, and like you end up looking at some numbers and like, oh yeah, he also ended up with 4 or 5 assists because you got to double him because stuff that I've seen at least at the high school level, if you don't send one, he's left or right shoulder, he's 7'1", and he has a great touch at the hoop.
I'm with you. I thought the passing touch really stood out as well and bodes favorably. Like even going back to that US game, the US was doubling him a ton in that, and he was still productive finding guys out of it. So yeah, I definitely buy that he will continue this trajectory and continue to refine his offensive game.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see kind of how his recruitment plays out. Obviously, UConn has been very good with bigs. Purdue been very good with bigs. Indiana, I think Darian DeVries is trying to make a point that they can be a big man stop, and they have had guys be successful. Umar Ballo had success, even if people don't want to admit it. Kalel Ware was a lottery pick going to Indiana. Now that was with Woodson, so you got to see how that kind of works out. And then you have Kentucky and Mark Pope in on him as well. Is there any school that you see him fitting at well?
I mean, do we need to do the Mark Pope system bit?
No, I rather not. Give it
I'll
a
say
little
UConn then. Let me get UConn. I think after I'm a Terrace Reed believer. Before any UConn fans take this as a slight, Janae has way more offensive upside than Reed ever did, and I think after a couple of years of Terrace down there, maybe Hurley says, "Let me get a guy who has the size but also has a little bit of a post bag to him." So
Yeah,
I
and
like
so
him
I
at
feel like
UConn.
Hurley could be like come be like Adama Sanogo.
Right,
That
right.
would be something that would appeal to him greatly. But it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, he'll start scheduling visits. I think he said in the fall, at least a Kentucky visit. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where he ends up. But we'll have updates on Arafan Janae and where he will end up.